So if it's flat on the bottom, if the airfoil's flat on the bottom, it's called cambered. And if it's the same on the top and the bottom, what is it called? Symmetrical. This talks about smooth and laminar airflow we've just talked about. And depending on the shape of that airfoil will determine how much lift and how much drag it has. To build it today, a little bit about the terminology. You're gonna have a bad day. Probably end up inverted. Here's another way of visualizing airflow around an airfoil. So this one is a fairly high angle of attack, and it shows what the flow is around the airfoil. Tiny tufts of yarn all over every square inch on this airfoil, and you can see visually what happens to the airflow around that airfoil when it's in motion, in a wind tunnel. The economy way to do it is with a yarn, and a tuft of yarn like we do. Here's another way to do it. You put oil on the leading edge of the airfoil, and then go fly it and come back and look at the oil. That's why you don't fly airliners upside down. Here's another saying the same thing basically. Laminar airflow, transition region, and turbulent flow. Just another way of saying it. This one's at 0 degrees angle of attack, so unlikely that the verbal point is clear up here. It's probably going to be back here at 0 degrees angle of attack. This one is depicting an angle of attack probably 10 degrees or so. What's usually the highest angle of attack that an aircraft can fly and still create lift?
20-ish?
Yeah, about 20.
Mesa Airlines, Airways.
What were you a captain on?
737.
737. Even to this day, like for filler, where they need a solid surface inside of another area, they'll use balsa wood because it's like I said, very strong and light. So the materials for building this there's 3 different materials. There's 1/16 inch thick balsa wood, so it's very thin, and to use to cut it, just use scissors is the best way to do it. If you try to cut it with the saw, it just makes a mess. So cut it like this. You're going to need little pieces like that for the gussets here. So this is the 1/16. The second material is 1/4 inch thick. And the only place to use that is to make the nose piece. So to do that, you use a template. We have a metal template here. Put it on there and draw around it, and then cut it out with the electric jigsaw that we have. And the best place to splice it is under that gusset. So this is how not to do it, is to splice it there. Actually, there is a gusset right there. You can splice it either place. You can splice it here, or you can splice it under this gusset or that one. And to cut it, like this piece will go all the way from there to there, and to cut the little piece that you want to go there, you use this little tiny saw. It's got real fine teeth on it. And I'm just going to demonstrate cutting a piece of balsa wood. It's very easy. Like that. Then start cutting pieces that will fit in between here. This piece is curved slightly, so again, you're going to have to splice it somewhere. We don't have pieces that'll go that whole length. So splice it under either that gusset or there, and then pin it down. So hold it in place with a pin down here, and then curve it and add another pin, and curve it and add another pin, like the one that's already here. And so after you've got it to this point here, take each little piece out. These are already glued in there, and put the littlest amount of glue on there to glue it so it covers the surface area. And on the end piece, it's not gonna take much. It's only gonna take like a little tiny dab like that. And then put it over on the juice saw, cut it out. You wanna probably just fast it to speed, make it go smoother. And the first thing I would recommend to do is cut right across there, so you're not wheeling this big thing around the whole time. Then you're working with it.
Be gentle, very, very gentle when you press down.
Gentle or
Yeah,
like
very gentle.
Is that good?
I think so. This,
It's like
that
that.
work?
Yeah,
Oh, he has it?
I think so. Did you do it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we either like glue it or staple it
Yeah.
or both.
You could do both or you could do one or the other.
So-
Whatever you prefer.
I'm not gonna staple it. I'm not. بس خل خل انا بيوزن له هنا.
طلع يوم وركنا فينا.
لما تكون تسوي لي
Yep. Again.
Skip me, jump, yes, skip.